This equation, it is driving me crazy. I have been at it for hours. Every time I think I am close, the answer slips away only to leave me with even more questions. That was my exact state of mind a few months ago. Have you ever felt the same? Stuck on a problem so long that numbers stop making sense. Words lose their meaning and even your own thoughts sound like a noise. Or is it just me who has been through that? My dear friends, the turning point in my life came a few weeks ago when I met a brilliant mathematician who had solved a world-famous equation, something others only dreamed of cracking. I confessed my frustration to him and said, even when I do reach the answer, instead of joy, I feel incomplete. He looked at me, paused, and quietly admitted, I too feel the same. At night, I would erase, rewrite, and try again. Even when the world celebrated my solution, deep inside, something still felt missing. Hearing this, I felt a strange relief, a quiet sense of satisfaction. For a moment, I thought maybe I wasn't average or failure. Maybe I was walking the same path of a genius. Lost in thoughts, I was looking at the mathematician with a newfound pride. The mathematician slowly moved to his bookshelf, pulled out a worn book and handed it to me. The title read, Shunya se Anant Tak, from 0 to infinity. He asked me to read the underlined verse. That which is whole from wholeness emerges. What? For a moment I froze.
From wholeness emerges. What?
Am I missing something again? Just a moment ago, I felt like a genius. Now doubt crept back in. I looked at the mathematician confused. He simply gestured to read further. Even if wholeness is taken away, what remains is still whole. Again, I looked at him. He smiled and said, these two lines changed everything for me. Completeness isn't about solving every puzzle. It's about realizing that what is truly whole can never be broken. Infinity minus something is still infinity. The mathematician leaned in and said, that's the paradox of knowledge. The more we learn, the more mysterious everything becomes. The deeper we venture into science and mathematics, the clearer it becomes how little we truly know. And my dear friends, in that moment, it struck me. Maybe that is why every time I felt close to an answer, a dozen new questions would rise up, multiplying my restlessness. Each solution wasn't an ending, but a doorway opening into an even larger room filled with puzzles yet to be solved. The mathematician looked at me and said, life is the same. At first, it feels like a riddle, but the deeper we look, the clearer the patterns become. Patterns that sages spoke long before calculus or computers. Loss, subtraction, confusion, none of these can destroy wholeness. He closed his eyes and said, our ancient traditions may be fading, but here lies the wonder. 3,000 years ago, the sages of India had already solved the ultimate equation. Not with numbers, not with symbols, but with a single verse. A verse that whispers the secret of infinity, of life, and of wholeness. That is whole. This is whole. From wholeness, wholeness emerges. Even when wholeness is taken away, what remains is still whole. Maybe the greatest solution is this. Infinity isn't hidden in some faraway equation. It's already here within us, around us, unbroken, complete. In that instant, I felt a bridge being built. What looked like abstract numbers in modern science zero in physics as the vacuum state, infinity in cosmology as the endless universe, suddenly carried the same meaning our ancient sages whispered thousands of years ago. We call it as wholeness or completeness. My dear friends, as my conversation with the mathematician continued, this mystery unfolded even more beautifully. The two lines from the book Shunya se Anant Tak, from zero to infinity, connected more beautifully to modern science. Wholeness is not something we have to earn or achieve. It is something that already exists. It is who we are. Are you ready to discover what true completeness really means? I am Mahesh Mohan Mamnuru, and this is CM Hub, where tradition meets technology and where the timeless treasure of slokas find its echo in modern science. If your thoughts resonate with ours, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. As my interaction with the mathematician extended, he asked me to look around, everywhere in nature. He said, there is a mysterious pattern spread all around. A tiny seed can grow into a forest. A single cell can become a whole human being. One formula, E is equal to mc square, explains energy, matter and even time. The mathematician asked me to recollect the first line he made me to read from the book. That which is whole from wholeness emerges. He went on to say that ancient mathematicians in India called this as Purna. Not just fullness or completeness, but something far more profound. Even in the smallest fragment, the whole is encoded. Wholeness can give rise only to wholeness. At first, it sounds poetic, almost mystical. I didn't quite understand how can the whole be hidden inside a part. But then the mathematician elaborated. Within a tiny seed, smaller than your fingernail, lies the entire blueprint of a giant tree. And he gave me another example. He asked me to think of a single drop of the ocean, salty, flowing, restless. And he said it carries the same essence as the ocean itself. That was when it struck me. A fragment is never just a fragment. It whispers the story of whole it belongs to. From a single cell, a human being grows. From a single note, a melody is born. And from wholeness itself, only wholeness can arise. Friends, suddenly these words weren't just philosophy anymore. They felt alive. They revealed their depth to me. And the more I reflected, the more I realized this isn't just a metaphor. It is reality. And now I understand the complete meaning of the first line which the mathematician made me read. From wholeness, wholeness emerges. I hope you too must have understood the meaning of that particular verse. It was then that I discovered the verse our ancient sages had gifted to the world ages ago. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We understood why Shanti 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 is repeated 3 times in our earlier episodes. And this mantra which I just recited is the Purna Mantra from the Isha Upanishad, sometimes called as Isha Upanishad. Perhaps the most mathematically precise spiritual statement ever made or would be ever made. Let me translate it in a way that would make both Einstein, who is sitting right in the heaven now, and your calculus teacher teaching you mathematics smile with happiness. Purnamadah, that is complete. Purnamidam, this is complete. Purnat Purnamudachyate, from completeness, completeness emerges. Or the one which we learnt earlier, from wholeness, wholeness emerges. Purnasya Purnamadaya, when you take completeness from completeness, Purnameva Vashishyate, completeness alone remains. And if you have to translate it into mathematical terms, infinity minus infinity is equal to infinity. Infinity plus infinity is equal to infinity. Friends, this isn't just poetry. This is perhaps the most accurate description of quantum physics, cosmology, and consciousness you will ever hear. Let me show you how. In 1905, Einstein gave us E is equal to mc square, showing that energy and mass are interchangeable but never destroyed. The total energy of the universe remains constant no matter what happens. To place it more precise, the law of conservation of energy says energy cannot be created or destroyed but can only be transformed. This perfectly mirrors the Purna principle. The universe's completeness remains intact despite all changes. Stars are born, live and die, but their energy becomes new stars, new planets, and ultimately you. The iron in your blood was forged in the heart of a dying star. You are literally made of stardust. Yet, through it all, cosmic completeness never decreases. Modern physics discovered something mind-blowing. Empty space isn't empty. What we call vacuum is buzzing with infinite energy. Virtual particles constantly appearing and disappearing. In the year 2019, researchers at the University of Constance used advanced spectroscopy to directly observe zero-point motion in molecules at temperatures near absolute zero, confirming that even in ground state, quantum systems retain inherent energy. My dear friends, in our ancient SLOKA, Anahatanadam Paramam Padam, sages described the same. And we learned this in our first episode of the series, SLOKA to Step. The implications are staggering. Empty space contains infinite potential energy. Matter and energy continuously emerge and dissolve back into this quantum plenum. The universe seems to make things out of nothing, but that nothing isn't really empty. It's more like a hidden storehouse that already holds the potential for everything. This resonates remarkably with the traditional interpretation of Purnat Purnamudachyate. From fullness, even what appears emptiness, fullness emerges. That was when the mathematician pointed me to this very line in the book Shunya Anant Tak. From fullness emerges fullness. From wholeness emerges wholeness. From completeness emerges completeness. Here is where it gets really interesting. The mathematician by name George Cantor discovered that there are infinitely many sizes of infinity. Some infinities are bigger than the other infinities. But the Purna Mantra points to something even deeper. A completeness that doesn't follow the normal mathematical rules. It is self-sustaining, self-generating, and self-contained. Think about the set of all positive integers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on up to infinity. This set is infinite. Now think about the set of all even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 and so on. That is also infinite. Even though it is only half of the first set. When you take away all the even numbers from the integers, infinite odd numbers remain. And Purnat Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. From infinity, take infinity and infinity still remains. This is the second line which the brilliant mathematician asked me to read. Even if wholeness is taken away, what remains is still whole. No matter how high you count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, no matter how high you count, there is always another. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15 and so on. Okay, let us have another example. Look at the vast. Every time telescopes peer farther, more galaxies appear. And now look at the tiny. Every time microscopes zoom deeper, new worlds unfold. Infinity above, infinity below, and infinity within. And here is the paradox. With all this infinity, you are not lost in it. You remain whole, complete always. Scientists recently discovered that our DNA contains about 3.2 billion base pairs. Not enough information to fill about 200 telephone books. Now these days you don't have telephone books. You store it in your phone, but in our days we used to have a telephone book, and near about 200 telephone books were to be required if we have to store the information of the DNA. Yet this entire library fits in a microscopic cell. More amazingly, every cell in your body contains the complete blueprint for your entire being. Your toe knows how to make your brain, and your heart carries the pattern for your eyes. This is Purna in action, each part containing the whole, the infinite expressing through the finite. Like a hologram, break the glass and each shard still contains the entire image. That is the secret of infinity. It doesn't scatter you, it completes you. As the ancient verse says, Purnamadah Purnamidam. That is complete, this is complete. Now I hope you understand the second verse that the brilliant mathematician asked me to read. Friends, in our Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya episode, we imagined ourselves as the vast ocean. Waves rise, waves fall, storms come and go, yet the ocean never loses its fullness. Each wave seems complete on its own, but it is never separate from the ocean. You are just like that ocean, whole in yourself. Your thoughts are like waves in the ocean of consciousness, arising, moving, dissolving, yet inseparable from the infinite awareness that contains them, that is you. When a wave dissolves, does the ocean become less? When you are born, did consciousness suddenly gain something new? The Purna Mantra reminds us, wholeness is always whole. It remains untouched, unbroken, complete, no matter what appears or disappears within it. The Purna Mantra isn't just about the universe, it is about you. You are not a fragment of consciousness. You are consciousness itself, appearing as a person. Purnamada, that infinite awareness. Purnamidam, this individual expression. Purnat Purnamudachyate, from the one the many arise. Purnameva Vashishyate, yet the self remains complete. No matter how you approach it, through philosophy, science, mathematics, or direct experience, the message is the same. Reality is wholeness. It is self-sustaining, unbroken, and accessible in this very moment. So the next time you feel incomplete or lacking, remember this ancient equation. Your essence is Purna, whole already. All experience emerges from wholeness. Gain or loss cannot touch your true nature. You don't need to become complete. You only need to remember you already are complete. My dear friends, as our journey flows from ancient mathematics to modern science, let one truth settle in your heart. The same awareness that inspired sages to encode infinity into a single verse lives even in you. Every equation you solve, every problem you crack, every spark of understanding, these are not random flashes. They are windows through which your infinite nature peeks out. You are not standing outside the universe staring in. You are the universe, awake, alive, and learning about itself through your eyes, your mind, and your heart. My dear friends, thank you for joining this exploration at the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern scientific understanding. If this resonated with your own sense of wonder, share your insights in the comments. Explore the research citations provided. Notice these patterns in your own direct experience. And subscribe for future episodes investigating other profound parallels. Let me acknowledge few of the people. Special thanks to the Sanskrit scholars who preserved these verses across millennia. Scientists whose rigorous research illuminates the structure of reality. Viewers like you who bring curiosity and open-mindedness to complex topics. Stay curious, stay complete, stay amazed. See you with another interesting sloka where infinity meets understanding. The journey continues. Take care. Bye-bye.